Hey guys, Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency update. Welcome to the channel. Like and subscribe if you're serious about investing in the digital asset space. And let's get right into it today. One take and uncut. So I'm going to cover some pieces of news and things I want to share first, and then I will kind of go into a little Ripple rant at the end of this video. I was gone for maybe 2 days, and then I see that all the drama and FUD continues to propagate throughout the retail investors, throughout XRP in the cryptocurrency space, from a few articles, a few statements that we are already well aware of. But it just goes to show how uninformed the everyday people are, and we almost feed each other, whether it's for positivity or even hype, which is not good either, or the negativity. All right, you have to keep things in perspective, and I understand that you're trying to be logical, but you cannot be 100% logical in an illogical market. So I can assure you, this is not financial advice. This is one man's opinion. I've done several years of research. I'm very confident in this ecosystem. Has my faith for XRP and its performance ever wavered? No, because I'm looking at the true fundamentals and looking at from a macro perspective. And then even when I dig into the micro perspective, there may be some things that I do not know exactly how it's going to play out. But I think a lot of intelligent people can kind of understand the chances and the probability with investing in this type of landscape right now. So let me kind of avoid ranting until the end and let me get through this information. So to kick things off briefly, we have Anders Lundberg showing this. So we know PolySign, again, PolySign in tandem with Standard Custody. These two behemoths, this is going to be for the tokenization of assets. Yes, these assets have to move around the globe and be interoperable, thanks to perhaps a protocol like Interledger Protocol, and also a native digital asset, XRP, and perhaps an actual distributed decentralized ledger as well, the XRP ledger. And it could have and needs some type of smart contracts and programmability, if that's a word, and utilizing perhaps Codius. There's many avenues that this can take place. And again, XRP as a bridge asset is what my focus is. Okay, you don't hear this channel talking about, well, the on-demand liquidity volume is going up this much and here and here and here. No, I'll breeze over that. That is not what I'm focused on. Ripple from the beginning has said low value payments. It is a mere stepping stone. As I say, low value, then high value. You know, one group in particular that I am watching, and I have reason to believe so, and I've explained all of it and defended the points, is R3. Please pay attention to R3, pay attention to Instex. Okay, there's a lot of things going on back on, guys. This is way bigger than just Ripple. Notice this global pandemic, no pun intended. There's more things going on, and of course there's very bad things that are very serious going on, and my heart goes out to that. But again, there's this push for cashless. If you think that this virus was in any way hindering the actual productivity of this rollout for the XRP ecosystem for any group, you are wrong. This virus, if anything, has expedited us much faster in terms of a roadmap due to the push for going to a cashless society. Everything is going tokenized. We see the US dollar talking about being completely tokenized. We'll go through that little white paper as well. There's just so much going on, guys. Again, I mean, when people are ordering food to their doors now, to their house, you can do contactless delivery. Well, it's the same concept with contactless payments. Everything will be automated. Everything will be tokenized. A lot of it will be running over a distributed system. And you need an actual ledger that can scale for the entire population. Does that mean that it will be used as a retail level and be used for everyday people? No, not necessarily. I believe the XRP ledger is still for institutional use. That is the focus. But Arthur Brito, one of the original founders, along with David Schwartz, again said they want it to be scalable for the 7 billion people on the planet. All right, words mean things. So right here, PolySign, this is completely backed by the original guys with David Schwartz, Arthur Brito. And you can see David Schwartz in the screenshot right here. We've shown this time and time again. Look who else is on this board. And again, this is basically for holding and securing these assets, guys. Security and storage of the trillions of dollars, if not quadrillions with a Q, to be stored via, you need tokenized security. Before you can have, high prices and bull runs, you need to have assurance that your assets are safe. So Tim Keeney was, and again, he's the vice chairman here for PolySign. He's the retired vice chairman of BNY Mellon, head of asset processing and global markets. And guys, this is not just some guy. These people are not going to just random positions. This was one of the, biggest names in the world of finance. Led an organization of 25,000 people responsible for custodying 25,000 or 25% of global institutional assets. And this is just one example. Look at this gentleman above again, growing these networks to 125 billion. UBS executive, global. We've talked about State Street, the connections with them holding a third of the world's wealth. You can even come down here. Again, no commentary is needed. Anders Lundberg. You can see BNY Mellon. Remember Matthew Mellon, who passed away holding nearly $1 billion worth of XRP during that bull run. It's by far the world's largest custodian bank. You can see 1.8 trillion assets under management, but notice assets under custody is $35.2 trillion. This money, even if it's not moving, has to be stored somewhere. If we are becoming, going tokenized and it still has to be interoperable with other groups and hedge funds and being moved around, endowment funds, pension funds, you name it, pay attention to this. This actually does mean things. And again, PolySign is set to launch 2020. The first 6 months of this year, I never would have predicted that things happened like they have. This has been the weirdest year of my life, and I'd imagine it's been the same way for you. So I'm just saying, expect the unexpected. We have 6 more months of this year. The year of the digital asset is what Ripple has called it. So pay close attention. We will see what happens. All right. Next up, really quick, we have Joe Smo instead of Schmo, I believe, and just talking about PolySign. And again, the Digital Dollar Project white paper. So we can kind of go here as well, and we'll just kind of take a quick peek. So again, May 2020, exploring a United States central bank digital currency, CBDC. We can see the Digital Dollar Foundation, Accenture. Accenture is one of the first investors of Ripple and also helps them and other groups basically create this digital transformation. They work with Swift, R3, related to the NASDAQ. It just goes endlessly with all of these groups specifically running and kind of setting up their ecosystem for distributed ledger technology. Okay, so they have a vested interest that XRP does extremely well as well. Please understand that, along with many of the other investors. And then the 350 direct Ripple partners, the banks, financial institutions, the majority of them are backed by Goldman Sachs and other behemoths. This means something, okay? There's not this many coincidences in the ecosystem. Understand why XRP is the black sheep of cryptocurrency, why it has the most FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt and drama, and the most bad things and negative things to be spoken about it. There's a reason. And guess what? The sheep, they gobble that up. And they can't really, do that long. And I'm not going to say which groups or who, but I do believe, and you guys can believe what you want, I just personally believe it's quite obvious that the XRP price is being suppressed. Now, the questions are, why? All right. It's my belief it's not going to be that way for, much, much longer. Per a TA perspective, per a fundamental perspective, now it seems that the volume kind of got shut down again. There's a lot of things coming, okay? And for me, I'm not nervous. I hold my long-term bag of XRP along with another good handful of solid projects. We are at the very beginning, and as soon as things really start going, and I believe price will move before regulation. I think all of these people think regulations matter. No, because all of Ripple's direct customers are directly regulated. And then again, Monica Long, Michelle Bond of Ripple have said this makes Ripple directly regulated as well. We are following we're already compliant in all of these nations and countries where we're operating with and their peers and partners, and it makes us directly regulated as well. From the fruition, again, I'm sure many of you have seen that Greg Kidd interview that Digital Asset Investor did. He has background from the Federal Reserve as well. Within a month of founding and kind of getting Ripple going, they were already meeting with the Federal Reserve. Again, every step of the way, whether the SEC that is also running and planning to run an actual node on the XRP ledger. Why? They don't run, they don't mine Bitcoin. Why? Because it means something. Again, working with the CFTC chairman, he already defined and was kind of smirking in that interview. He never addressed Ripple or XRP. He can't address anything directly. But he already told you what falls in the framework. He says maybe it was a security in the beginning, but again, you get a little fine in the beginning, just like EOS, that cryptocurrency did, which was minuscule, and now they go on to take over as well. Okay, so notice that he said, yes, even if they begin centralized or do security like practices in the beginning, yes, there can be some lawsuits, big deal. For a $10 billion valued company, it doesn't really matter. And as their network becomes more and more distributed, is what he said, they can actually go from security to being classified as a commodity. Remember, it is my bet, XRP, and it doesn't really matter either to me personally, but I believe that XRP will be classified as a commodity or some type of utility token or new classification, not just, a vanilla security. Okay. So again, I do recommend you guys look at this. This is the Digital Dollar Project white paper. Okay. So you guys can kind of scroll through this. I'm going to save my time because I feel like I'm ranting a bit. I'm going to go to the next one. So right here, guys, this was actually Brad Kime's other channel. So the Digital Ledger, and I was just tuning in and catching up. And again, this was on Ripple's YouTube channel, so you guys can go there and watch it directly as well. But Graham Bright of Euro XM Bank, I know I showed you those clips that Stuart XRP was sharing. He's directly talking about in this video the utility that XRP is doing, the utility that Ripple's doing with their messages. Now, what I want to emphasize, and again, Euro XM Bank is using on-demand liquidity, aka utilizing XRP inflows. So, what he said is this: he said basically for Ripple, there's greater plans. He said they were planning to do this, and you can watch this again on Brad's channel. Digital Ledger, and it's about 7 minutes and 41 seconds. I'm not going to play it for copyright purposes, but essentially what Mr. Graham Bright says, and I do recommend you guys watch this whole video, is he just said, Ripple in the messages is not only the work with payment instructions, but there's plans right now to embed, and this is from 2019, to embed trade finance instructions into a Ripple message as well. Understand, trade finance, R3, even other groups, that's the trillions of dollars. You can't do trade finance with low value. It's high value payments. I mean, you can batch them as much as you want, but eventually, after batching the payments, they're still going to be high value. I mean, I'm talking way over 10K plus. That's still considered a micro payment for some of these banks and institutions. So again, in the Ripple message, instead of just mere payments instructions with trade finance, this can actually include other content and information such as bills of lading, airway bills, the contents of, letters of credit, funds, securities. And he also said any of the current Swift messages in all of the existing member infrastructure. That's already the messaging. That replaces everything, guys. That's like Xcurrent on steroids or Swift GPI on steroids. So that's the messaging, that's the clearing, that's the reconciliation. Step one, check. Okay. Now, and then he said, who can then use a Ripple message to communicate any of these things via one API. And again, this is kind of me saying it, all standardized, all interoperable for clearing, step one, and then settlement. So not just bank to bank, but actually institutions can connect directly to institutions via Ripple. Remember, runs on Ripple. This is all within seconds, real time, utilizing distributed ledger technology rather than this old legacy infrastructure that is 40 years old. This, in my opinion, and I know I sound way too bullish and hypey, but obviously because we're looking at a 20-cent price and it's been a 2.5-year bear market, I get it. But you have to look at these things and look at the developments on the back end. I just recommend, maybe staying off Twitter or even YouTube and go do your own research or talk to some high level individuals. Okay, there's big things coming. All right. So again, this is set up for global domination, but it might take a little while. But I do believe that we will see something significant in 2020. And yes, I am absolutely referring to price as well, but that can be my confirmation bias because I think that per the fractal, per the algorithms, many cryptos are going to be bumping up dramatically. 2 to 3x here and there, but who knows when regulations will come and eventually smash some that kind of have scam-like practices. All right, but I still believe that many of the top projects, the top 50, are very, very legit. Most of the projects, Coinbase, Binance, they really have to vet these projects and make sure that they are set up for success as well. So keep that in mind. But again, you have to be paranoid and do your best because we are so early. That is why the bulk of my holdings are in the most legit projects. But yes, I do diversify into other alts as well. All right. So if you don't feel comfortable investing, taking any risks in life, guys, this space is not for you. And I say that, kindly, I promise, but just do your own research. This is not financial advice. I just know exactly what I'm doing, and we shall see when it's all said and done in the future what exactly happens. All right, that was a long rant, my bad. So right here, Mickey Be Fresh. So again, this clip, it's a 2-minute clip. I do want to play it. If you don't want to listen to it, just fast forward, okay? So pay attention. And again, basically just mentioning a standard set of protocols created by the private sector that would give them to all banks and payment providers. And yes, this is at the Institute of International Finance. Okay. So I'm not saying this has anything to do with RippleNet per se, but we cannot deny that there's not too many payment networks that are DLT based with these standardized protocols. And understand that the biggest names in the industry, Don Donahue, all these guys that are even on the current board are massive names. And then look at PolySign, look at these groups. And yes, they have to interoperate. And that's why I'm also bullish for XRP with that application as well. Okay, so just listen up to this really quick and then kind of apply it back to all of this trade finance stuff that we're talking about, global payments, but even trade finance. And this is by Everest. And again, funny enough, the same group that made this with the XRP ledger at the center of everything with Interledger Protocol, connecting the real-time gross settlement systems to all of the central banks, the correspondent banking network, and liquidity providers. Okay, pay close attention right here.
Giving them a standard set of technological protocols to use. So in short, our proposals, I think, is a quite simple one. And that is that there be a independent enterprise. Now, it can be a quasi-governmental. There's certainly a role for strict standards and government role in this. But having been in the government, knowing how difficult it is to actually do technological innovation in government, being a representative of government that couldn't build a medical website, and after 3 tries eventually went to the private sector to get it done. This has really got to be built, if it's going to be built on time and built, it's got to be built with private sector involvement. On time and built, it's got to be built with private sector involvement. But that entity would make those standard protocols available to the entire existing financial ecosystem. Entity would make those standard.
And keep in mind, Ripple, 350 direct partners, but when you include Finastra, Temenos, this already is over 12,000 partners. So please understand that Finastra is one of the technology providers. Also for the clearinghouse, there's just too many connections. We're integrated with, the platform Volpay of Volante, which is another technology provider. It's just nonstop. Task Group with the entire Euro system of the Target 2 settlements. We have ACI Worldwide, which again sends $162 million per second. Okay? Look at this.
Protocols available to the entire existing entity would make those standard protocols available to the entire existing financial ecosystem. The banks, payment providers, others, standard set of protocols, and an ecosystem.
All right, I'm tired of repeating myself. So again, what I did forget to mention a few videos ago was essentially remember, we're talking about Brazil. We know that, Ripple's met with Brazil numerous times. There's talking with the central bank. They're live on OnDemand Liquidity since last June 2019. But understand why Brazil is significant, not just for remittance in the Brazilian real and improving liquidity for everyday people, but remember, they are a part of the BRICS nations, BRICS, okay? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. This is relevant, and I've said time and time again, along with many other people, keep an eye on these groups. This is the biggest thing in decades that has ever occurred, and these nations are, again, leaving the US dollar as that reserve status. They don't want their only option to be denominated in US dollar. Watch what the AIIB is doing. Watch what HSBC is doing to even help these groups. The Asian Development Bank, the UN, we've heard them talking about this. I mean, for God's sake, they're now calling this the Great Reset. You can't make this stuff up. And I know you guys think that all these YouTubers are just completely hypey, and yeah, some are. But look at what's happening around you. All right. Now, I'm not saying never, never, never take a loan and buy crypto. Don't do that. You're setting yourself up for too much risk already, and you're going to be emotionally invested. What I'm saying is pay attention, only invest what you can afford to lose. But I believe that even a little bit can be life changing, because this is something much, much bigger than something silly like investing in Amazon stock early on. Yes, you just heard that. I believe this is going to be much bigger. And I know that's hilarious for some of you that just don't get it, because you have, maybe you've been here for 3 years and you've watched your crypto investments go down, but you have to understand that you just invested after a bull run that was spec-based or who knows what, and you just watched it, and now you're just sitting and holding. If you're still holding, props. Can you believe the people that are 90% down and then gave up and sold? That's, those are the people that should not be investing. All right. So again, talked about BRICS. Please watch them. This is very, very significant, okay? Even, believe it or not, the US dollar, the United States wants to get away from that as well. And then also, just the coming to mind with the use cases, guys, it's way more than just payments. If you've seen that recent interview, Ripple interview of Craig DeWitt of Ripple with his recent interview with Tony from Thinking Crypto, I thought it was really well done. And he even said, people don't realize it's more than using, XRP for payments is that use case. Payments by itself is not really a use case. It's an enabler of new use cases. Okay, think of Logos Network, those acquisitions. Think of all of that. Developers are going to have better ease to create apps in the future for these newer use cases too. And then this is another stepping stone, which will then make it easier for all of these institutions to get on board. The flywheel effect can, we can kind of spin that many, many ways. Okay. So again, private entity using this protocol. Exactly. All right. Almost done, guys. Right here, this was another interview. Mickey B. Fresh does have a YouTube channel, and he actually was on Brad Kimes' channel earlier, so if you guys want to check that out. And again, just talking about the current developments, the news on on-demand liquidity, deeper look into RippleNet and on-demand liquidity. Okay, so again, Mickey B. Fresh, he's read, back and forth the white papers for Codius. He gets it. He's, I think he's a very, very smart individual. I think he's too smart for his own good many times. And, just going back and forth, they had a really, really good discussion. And I do recommend checking this out. Instead of just reading all the misinformation, really check out the actual data. Look at the true conferences on YouTube. Don't just watch YouTubers. Don't watch me if you don't want to, but I'm just doing this because this is a really high level channel for newcomers so they can get some information and understand how big this opportunity can and most likely will be. Not financial advice. Even right here, from Spring, not X Spring, it's pronounced Spring, GitHub for the XRP wallet infrastructure. You can see, right here, guys, timestamps, you see the information, you see the title, travel rule. So what we did, and actually Martin Volk provided down here. Here it is. The travel rule is a Bank Secrecy Act rule requiring funds transmitting financial institutions to forward certain information to the next financial institution if the funds transmitted equals or exceeds the US dollar equivalent of $3,000. So right there already seems like we're sending bigger payments than just $250 here and there, okay? Now understand, on-demand liquidity is still launching new corridors. Yes, it's low value, but they said high frequency. So we are going to, even if it starts off low volume, that will be growing. There's a bigger plan at play. I don't think that, XRP necessarily depends on Ripple, okay? Who knows what other groups may have came in and are demanding new things as well. Okay, I think there is a greater plan at play, and that can just be my tinfoil hat thing, and that is not financial advice. That's just me showing you, but you guys already know the connections. All these groups in cryptocurrency. I'm just saying the groups that are best set to be a bridge asset for payments and additionally other use cases is XRP, without a doubt. I'm bullish on many, many other altcoins, but I don't have to disrespect them in order to, show the value of this one. Yes, I'm bullish on a lot of assets, and I think they have a really good chance at mass adoption. VeChain, even, kind of ADA and XTZ go back and forth, Link. There's a lot of good projects out there, okay? And yes, I'm bullish on Ethereum, even if they are having issues with scaling and getting to, proof of stake, and there's just a lot of them, okay? So pay attention. I'm really excited to see what this landscape looks like by end of year, and I believe that things have moved a lot quicker than we anticipated as well. Okay, so almost done here, guys. I want to show you this again. Mickey B. Fresh. This plan has always been the same. All we've seen is the first iteration of on-demand liquidity, and this is Stefan Thomas, guys, former CTO of Ripple. All right, now he's at Coil. And keep in mind, this gentleman is an absolute genius. He even redid the entire code of Bitcoin, and he even said, there's double spending issues, and he was a part of helping with the XRP ledger, and he's ensured that there's none of those errors. We've had 55 million ledgers closed successfully. This is 7 years at least in the making. Financial institutions, this is some type of token that they would adopt. They're not going to adopt Bitcoin for that. Will Bitcoin be a successful store of value? I don't care. I hope so for those of you that are holding it. But again, a store of value retains said value and isn't as volatile. But that's just my opinion of things. So just listen to this really quick. I'll start it right there. And again, RippleNet is the exchange that all crypto exchanges will connect to. Ripple is in the process of building a distributed trading platform, this giant, global distributed marketplace, guys, for ODL using RippleNet, using Codius. And keep in mind, we're also going towards the cloud now. Amazon Web Services, talks highly. Microsoft runs a validator. I've seen all I need to see, period. It's just a simple matter of patience, and patience takes a long time. All right. So listen to this really quick.
to do that,
of Codius.
so Ripple, we're trying to build a distributed exchange. And in order to do that, you have to have a lot of business rules encoded on top of the actual protocol layer. So we ourselves have a big need for smart contracts. And if we look at all the solutions out there, and there wasn't the thing that we needed, like something like Ethereum doesn't solve our particular use case because we need to.
Okay, you heard it. Ethereum does not solve their particular use case. And what have they been working on? Codius. And yes, Codius is alive and well. I think a lot of people confuse that with, that other term Cobalt, which is, another way to kind of increase the TPS. It's, I don't want to say it's similar to sharding per se, but all right, let me keep going. So right here, we're going to finish up with this, guys. So James Rule XRP, Everest, again, an Everest or NTT data company, they range from the 4th to the 6th largest IT group in the world. And again, just thanks for providing this, James. We have this PDF presentation. We can go through here. It's only 40 pages, but just to show you blockchain rethinking business, talking about everything going more distributed, decentralized, disintermediation, everything we talk about, their consensus mechanism. Obviously, the XRP ledger has the best proof of consensus, proof of correctness algorithm. Preventing attacks, the burn, everything is just, set for success in my opinion. All right. Now notice this, we are seeing a lot of similarities. The Internet of Value, we have the networks, we have Interledger Protocol that was created by Ripple and Hyperledger. We have connecting to the banks, open APIs, and yes, this is ILP symbol. And then you can see the various platforms. SAP, again, they've helped test with huge banks and FIs as well. We've shown how we're connected to Alipay. We've shown connected, with Amazon Web Services. I mean, even Xsong's Craig DeWitt uses AWS as well. PayPal has an IOP plugin. I'm sure that's just for fun though, guys. There's no greater plan. Of course there is. Just all these groups are right in front of you. Okay. We've shown plenty and plenty of this. Okay. Now, as we keep going, you can see centralized, you can see decentralized, and then distributed. Now, I believe that distributed is a lot more kind of in the middle or more so a hybrid. And that's where I believe this is all going. I don't think it's going to be completely decentralized with this new economy. The governments of the world still want control. Okay. It's still going to be based off trust. There's still going to be power struggles, but we're going to create an ecosystem of mutual trust rather than today's mutual mistrust. Talking about blockchain, what does it solve? If you guys want to check this out, highly recommend it. Again, James Rule XRP, and then I also retweeted it on Twitter. So consensus, I just kind of want to speed through this really quick, talking about the key features that we talk about. Again, don't need to waste your time with that. You've been here. Smart contracts makes me think of Codius as well. And there's even just a native DEX, a decentralized exchange in the XRP ledger, IOU capabilities, even the algorithmic stable coins we can put on that David Schwartz is talking about and proposing for the XRP ledger. It's absolutely unbelievable if you really dig into this and you're not just looking at the price and saying, oh, my altcoin went up 40% this month. XRP sucks. Those are the myopic people. Those are, the children in this space. They don't get what is coming to this ecosystem. And yes, maybe their project will do extremely well, but I'm just saying you're wasting your time, making memes on Twitter instead of actually making moves. All right. Philosophy, disruption, pragmatism. All right. And again, remember, this is all made by Everest. We got this roadmap. And what I wanted to show you, I'm kind of going through here. So again, just talking about Ripple, Bitcoin, Ethereum, mechanisms, requirements. And it's just very, very interesting that we're seeing another one mentioning this. So we have global payments as a use case. Okay. So yeah, we see XRP and all that, but now even talking about trade finance, it makes me think of the, capital markets. Then look, post-trade reconciliation. Makes me think of what Graham Bright was just talking about, those Ripple messages as well. And obviously this can be different. And I know R3 is working on many, many DLT platforms for this exactly, and that's fine. I just wanted to show you that there's going to be many, many use cases. Again, reconciliation, clearing, getting, just the pure messaging as well, and automation in, completely standardized messaging formats, so that all countries and all institutions and all governments can communicate well and are all compliant and on the same level. And basically having those types of things, you're going to be able to just keep increasing productivity. So remember, right here, cross-border real-time gross settlement systems, 2020 to 2025. So it is my belief that we see some big developments or hints, because understand, started off with this continuous link settlement. We've already shown how all of that is integrated with Global Pay Plus, which is the platform used by Finastra, a Ripple partner, that is again integrated with RippleNet. Yes, Global Pay Plus exclusively is literally integrated with RippleNet. That's not me connecting or grasping strings. That is a fact. Okay, we've shown Target 2 directly connected. We've shown Fedwire. I mean, even the Nacho Alliance, the entire backbone of the ACH. The ACH network's pretty low value though, so that doesn't really interest me. But I'm looking at these real-time gross settlement systems. These RTGS guys, Bank of Japan. I mean, even China right here, their little local payments is what is it, high value payment system, I believe. Makes me think of SIPs. Just pay attention, guys. I'm begging you. But I'll just keep talking to myself in this microphone in my little echo chamber as we watch the Internet of Value come into fruition. And we're gonna have people come and go in this space, and that's just how it works. But hopefully, I'm doing my part in just sharing this. And as you can tell, I keep ranting about it because I'm excited, and it's not me just repeating it out of desperation. I literally see this coming, and I have along with many others in the space, like thousands of you are seeing it, and I think this is going to be really, really big. This is kind of the same kind of group of people that took advantage of the dot-com bubble as well. We have 2017. It's the settlements, okay? But again, no XRP ledger here. We just have interledger protocol finally implemented, and we have Xcurrent and RippleNet with the messaging. Notice this uses ILP. Financial institutions are also joining RippleNet. It's all about the messaging, okay? Then it says FIs will start using the XRP ledger for liquidity provisioning and cross-currency global real-time gross settlement systems. Real-time gross settlement. All right? Java of interledger protocol, real-time settlements. Now we're going to eventually go into the capital markets, and then this is where it gets really big. We have the XRP ledger as that one ledger for all of this. It's just absolutely massive, guys. We're basically going to phase out CLS. Understand that the DTCC, their former president, now they send $2 quadrillion per year. 2019, they sent 2 quadrillion or 2 point something. And he is the chairman of RippleNet, which is the Global Payments Steering Group, aka Global Payments Steering Group. That's huge globally. And again, DTCC uses CLS for at least the foreign exchange market. CLS does over 50% of the Forex market. And I'm just going to keep repeating this because I have newcomers on this channel. If you don't like me or don't like my content, don't watch it, with all due respect. All right, hopefully I'm helping people learn a little bit. And again, the platforms, just like we saw in that again, James Rule, XRP shared. You can find them at Rule XRP. So we have right here, the Everest, we have Everest again. And now you see the platforms, capital markets, trade finance, SAP. I mean, we got Apple Pay, Internet of Things will be a behemoth as well. You have actual marketplaces that are decentralized as well. It's just never ending. It is all right in front of you. So if, anything goes, all I want you guys to do is I encourage you to think for yourselves, do your own research. Every time you see a piece of good news or bad news, take a minute and digest it. And then look, capital markets, DTCC is, right there as well mentioned. All right. We'll see how this ends up, guys, but I know where I stand. I know my plan, and I do believe that we are in for the ride of our lives. So with all that, guys, I appreciate it. Remember to check the links in this video description, all things related to cryptocurrency. Shout out to my top channel members and supporters. Thank you guys so much. JCR Central, Jamie XRP, Crypto Beginner, Philip, Ken Melendez, XRP Holder 4, and all others. Appreciate all of you that hit the like button. Share this video around, and I will see you in the next one.